Everybody, welcome back. I'm your host, Trevor May. Hour 2, putting the chapstick on. A lot to talk about. We just kind of went really deep into the Harper and Manfred situation. Talked about some trades. We've had some breaking news. We've done some stuff, but we're going to get right back into the show because we got quite the jam-packed hour number dos. All right, let's talk a little bit about mace-splaining, all right? Mace-splaining, that's wrong. Let's do that. Bonk. All right. Baseball bets. Let's go big here. We've had some news. Gambling is legal in baseball. Gambling is legal in sports in general in the United States, with the exception of a couple states. But there's been quite the push into the gambling market for sports. I think we all know about that. Talked about it ad nauseum. Great. If you want to gamble, you want to get whatever. You can do those things. But recently, we've had some very interesting situations happening with players in baseball that seem to be trending towards possible rigging of games, though allegedly, we don't know any of that stuff. That is just being inferred by the nature of the information that we've had so far. So here's what happened, okay? On July 3rd, Cleveland Guardians pitcher Luis Ortiz was placed on leave during an MLB betting investigation. Basically, what happened was there was an inordinate number of micro bets, which there's certain platforms. I don't think the big ones like Underdog and like MGM and all this, I don't think they don't do these type of things, but there are some more fringe platforms that do micro bets on very specific things happening in very specific times in games. For example, first pitch being like a hit and batter or a ball of a bat in or like a exact number of runs being scored in an inning, stuff like that, okay? So there were two pitches that third-party betting integrity firm IC360 flagged from Luis Ortiz. Namely, it was just a couple of odd-looking pitches where it was nowhere close to the zone in the first pitch of an inning for a ball, which that is one of the things that they could vote on or they can bet on. And and they just saw like a higher volume of bets on those two pitches that were really bad misses, right? So that could flag something. They have probably a lot of automated system too that's doing this. Like if it misses by a certain amount, they'll go look at it and whatever. So this is part of having gambling in sports as well. A lot of these third-party watchdogs are part of this situation because at the end of the day, you need to maintain the integrity of the games, or the betting on them doesn't make any sense if everyone feels like it's rigged. Like everyone loses in that situation, okay? But then again, on Monday, Guardians closer Emmanuel Clase was also put on the same leave till the same time, August 31st, for the same kind of situations, though they have not mentioned any pitches being flagged or whatever. With Ortiz, we knew that, and this is the headline from the Athletic. There were no pitches disclosed on what it was. They said they were even though they share a locker room and they know each other, and I believe they are friends as anecdotes, but I don't know that for sure. Let's just assume that they're teammate friends, like a friendship to a point. That they're not related in any like material way, meaning like it's not like they did it. They've got like text messages connecting them or something. Like there's collusion or a conspiracy. They've been clear like that isn't part of this. Also, there's nobody else being looked at for the Guardians. So if Guardians fans got at least, I mean, you can think it's good news. This is it so far. Okay. So what happened when this speculation happened? This is a big deal for a lot of reasons we're gonna get into in a moment, but like, just like with Ortiz, the internet went crazy, right? And Clase, frankly, is a much bigger deal to a lot of fans because of how good he is and for what he was going to mean on the trade market, which he's no longer going to mean that. But there's an investigation going on, so he ain't going to be traded and they're not going to get any prospects back. We'll talk about that in a moment. The uncertainty about this, like what, got the internet riled up. And there was people giving takes and finding all this evidence and all this kind of stuff. But what they did was they ran with the same type of things that Ortiz was doing. The first pitches of innings, was there any weird trends happening with Clase that could be what they were looking at? And there a lot of people I didn't know that were having these takes, but a couple I did know and that do good work, so we're going to reference one of them. This is Foolish Baseball. Bailey is a YouTuber. Foolish Baseball is a great YouTube channel. It's analytically based. It does great work. A lot of fun. He does a great job. You might have seen Baseball Bits on YouTube. And he said the following. Manuel Clase has come to the game at the beginning of the 9th inning 40 times this season. Here's the StatCast waste percent, pitches that aren't close to the zone. And I believe it's the same as competitive location. It's like outside of 18 inches. Outside of 18 inches from the center of the zone is considered waste, meaning nobody swings at him with the exception of like 2020 Javier Baez, okay? So he posted this. He said, first pitch inning is 17.5%. Every other pitch is 5.2%. Now, a couple caveats here. I don't know if every other pitch is like every other count, because 0-0 is what we're looking at. That is one of the things you can bet on. I don't think you can bet on any other counts. Or I actually don't know what other options there are, but we're just going with what Ortiz does. And he said, in the top of the 9th, every pitch, other pitch is 5.2 and 7.5. That's a big difference. Like that's a big difference. In the comments later, they said, what was it last year? And it was 5% in both. So that is a weird trend thing. However, I do know, or it was put out there that it is very unlikely that the first pitch at the bottom of the 9th or the top of the 9th inning in general is not available for these type of bets. So this might not even apply, but still an interesting thread to pull on. And then from here, a bunch of people were posting compilations of all the pitches and how bad they were misses. There were some really bad misses in there, but he tends to kind of every once in a while just throw a really bad. We all do, right? So you can't just watch a compilation of a bunch of pitches that are nowhere close and just assume that he's doing it on purpose. That's not enough evidence. But there's been a lot of speculation. Of course, the internet's running with it, and everything's a conspiracy these days. So I actually went and looked and at just 0-0 pitches just in general, because he has pitched in the 8th inning. I believe he's pitched in the 7th one once, to see, like, are you weird on 0-0 pitches? So I tried to expand on this research that Bailey was doing, and I found some things that are curious. Do I inevitably think they mean much? I don't know, but you guys tell me. Okay, so let's talk a little bit of the stuff I found, all right? So his 0-0 pitches have the lowest competitive location, meaning the highest percentage of whiff. Sorry if my mic's popping for no reason, fixing it. So annoying. Okay. Competitive location, meaning he had the most waste pitches 0-0 of any count outside of 1-1, and it's almost exactly the same. But in general, he has really good competitive location percentages, like top of the league. Like he's around the plate. He doesn't miss big a lot, which that's important, okay? So I'm gonna show you real quick, again, with the whiteboard, what we're working with here. Okay, so let me just pull this and make this big for you. I have a new one for you. I made one before. Okay, so this is what competitive location means for all of you that don't know, all right? So say that's the center of the zone. Then there is a circle. That is terrible. You get it. And this is supposed to be 18 inches. Now, the circle's supposed to be small, but like, so everything outside of this, like up here and up here and up here, these are considered not competitive or waste pitches. So comp block percent means how many of the pitches are in this circle. What percentage of your total pitches? Elite would be 90%, or 85 to 90% is elite, top elite. He is total 87, so he is well above average. Average is like 83. So he is well above average, even with all this stuff. So he has good control. Like this is a good example of control and how important it is. Okay? All right. What's happening here? Oh, I think I actually went past. One sec. All right, so let's get into more of the stats. So, like I said, his average is 87%. He is 84% 0-0. That's weird. That's weird. 0-0 is usually one of the higher ones if you are a command guy, okay? His 0-0 strike rate, first pitch strikes, which are one of the most important statistics for a pitcher, is 60.3%. Last year, it was 66.4%. Now, he had one of the most amazing reliever years ever, and 66% of his first pitch strikes is pretty high. The league average is about 62 or 3. He's 3% below average. But what's fishy about that is 0-0 is also his lowest strike percent at all. Of all counts, every single count that exists, that is the one he throws the least amount of strikes in. That's interesting. So only that count is at well below average. Everyone else is above average. So I thought that was odd. Like, why? Why is that? And then he also had, he's got a lower paint, which paint is edge. So basically, oh my goodness gracious. So, what? Okay, hold on. Did I delete it? Did I move it? Did I scroll down? I scrolled down. Okay, I scrolled down. Okay, so paint is, if the ball is here and splits the edge of the zone, that is a 0. Basically, it's how far away from the edge of the zone is the ball on average, distance-wise, in a straight line. Last year, he was 0.6, which is a great paint. That means regularly the ball is like in the zone. This year's -6. So last year was +3. So this is last year, but this is this year. It's on average over half of an inch outside of the zone. So he basically flipped it a full inch on average out of the strike zone is his average pitch, but his competitive location is 87%. So it's like, why then, when you miss, are those misses so bad? Like, they're missing by so much that they're driving these averages way down. Again, red flags, like, that seems weird and fishy, but doesn't prove anything. It is just, this is a very specific trend that you would only find if you were looking specifically for it. So I can get recent bias. I don't think this means anything. I don't think this proves anything. But this is where I would look, and if I were doing a statistical analysis, or if we were working on something, I was talking about pitching, I'd ask him, like, what's up with first pitches? What's going on with that? Why is that struggling? Why are we struggling with that? And that would be an awesome conversation to have, but it just so happens that he also is getting investigated. So, all very interesting to think about. And this is important for a lot of reasons. This whole situation is important for a lot of reasons. One, now we're talking about gambling again, and everyone doesn't want to talk about gambling, especially the front offices, or especially the league. The league doesn't want to talk about gambling anymore. They don't want black eyes about gambling. They just exonerated, or they just reinstated Pete Rose and the Black Sox, and now we have it's just like really poor timing. That is a big consequence of how this could happen, is that we don't want people to not feel good about gambling because we want them to use it. But the second big one is he was a huge trade piece, and the Guardians are out of it. And they're very rarely out of it, and they want more players. And in a market that needs back-end guys, this guy was the guy, and they needed some more people. And so now they're not going to get those guys. They're looking elsewhere to trade. But the Guardians could have potentially shipped this guy for his maximum value because he's controllable, he's young, he's elite, and he's cheap comparatively. He's on a cheap contract. So that sucks, and I feel bad for Guardians fans, and that's why this messes this whole thing up. Okay, so there's one last little piece here that I want to point out, and it's about first pitch strikes and pitching philosophy. The number one thing we're told as pitchers, when we come to the major leagues, is you can't walk people, and you don't walk people by getting ahead. First pitch strikes, throwing the first pitch as a strike in the game is the most important thing you have to be able to do. Every pitcher needs to do it. It is still old school thinking, but it's been backed up by the data, the analytics. It's like one of the few things that the traditional people and analytics people all say, first pitch strikes are the most valuable thing. Like they just are. Like getting ahead is the most valuable thing. He is very good at it. He's very good at throwing strikes, talking to Emmanuel Clase. So why is the first pitch strike the one you're struggling with the most when that is the most important one? Like, what is going on? He's only walking 2 per 9. He's only walking 6% of his batters. The league average is almost 9, and he's walking 6. Like, he doesn't walk people either. So he's not walking people, but he's just not throwing first pitch strikes. In the year after, he was elite at throwing first pitch strikes. So that would give me, that raises a question mark that I don't know how to answer. And I think that the only way we're going to find this answer is through this investigation. It could be unrelated. Let me be very clear here. First pitch strikes fluctuate. They do. I had them fluctuate pretty wildly sometimes, but I also was just horrible a couple of years. Like, I was so bad. Like, I was bad across the board. He's good at everything except for this. That's why that's interesting. But what it does is he's so good at everything else that why is there no focus on rule number 1? That's rule number 1. And it seems like it's not a point of focus, and why is there a lack of focus on that? So, in conclusion, we can speculate all day. I can talk about, oh, this could happen, this could happen. We're not going to know, and I'm not going to assume he did anything wrong. This could just be an extrapolation on, oh, those things look fishy in a similar way, let's look into it. It could not be anything, right? Or there could be some extenuating circumstance or some other, maybe there is a text message or something somewhere that is incriminating in a different way. Maybe it's completely unrelated to first pitches. Maybe all those things can be true and is just as likely as not. So that is what it is. But what I would try to do as if I saw that there was a struggle happening first pitch or whatever, these are the same questions I would ask. It just so happens that there is this investigation happening and it was related to first pitches. So I would love to know what your guys' takes are, especially in the comments, especially in the chat. Like, you know, do we really need this black eye to be related to gambling? Because there's already so much uncertainty with TV right now and TV contracts for the league. Gambling seems to be maybe a windfall for a lot of the money that's moving away from this cord cutting and the streaming and how these things are going to work. There is going to be a cut into the way that money works. And gambling was I think one of the big ways that they're feeling more comfortable about that. But is that worth undermining the integrity of the game or giving the impression of the undermining the integrity game to bolster the income? Because at the end of the day, if the integrity gets lost, then even the people who bet don't trust that the system's being done fairly, so they don't want to bet anymore. So you kind of lose on both ends. And the question we got to ask now, is that worth it? Is that trade-off worth it? And I guess we'll have to see. I just don't know. But it'll be a story that we will be watching closely as we move forward. And that is Mace Planning. All right. By the way, guys, everyone in the chat, if you're asking questions and stuff, I'm going to probably extend today's stream. We're going to catch all these questions in this bucket over here on the side, and we will talk through them, put them up on the screen. So if you're asking questions, you have a genuine question, and I'm not reading as much chat right now, I will get to it. And I will take the time to do it at the end because I think there's a lot to get into. What is going on with my mic? Is it popping for you guys? Jesus, I don't know why it does this. Here, let me just put it up on the... I'm going to try something. Is there like metal? Maybe if it's not on my body. Maybe if it's not on my body. I think it's because it's on my body, and there's a mic on the little thing, and anyway, sorry, and it rubs. It does sound way better now, does it not? Yeah, what the hell? Huh. Well, we're doing this now. Oh, don't yell though, Trevor. No yelling. We don't yell or it'll pop. Great. All right, cool. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Moving on. Let's talk about some trade stuff. Some things that have not happened. So we have more trades to come. The deadline is in. What day is it? the trade deadline is in about 24 hours. So it's going to get spicy, hot and spicy. So let's talk through some of the stuff that could happen, might happen, may not happen. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. Okay, I am getting super frustrated by this process. One sec. Let me fix this once and for all. Come up here. Come up here. Come over here. Yeah, there you go. I'll pull that tight. There you go. Get off the microphone. There we go. We did it. 26 hours. About 26 hours. Isn't it 6 p.m. Eastern? So 24 and a half hours. Maybe. Okay, so we're going to get into this. We're going to talk about some of the rumors going around and what I think might happen and who I think could maybe use these guys and go from there, okay? So let's talk a little bit about what's still on the table, what could happen in the next day. Hopefully I can get this video up soon so that it still makes sense. All right, so the Diamondbacks and Eugenio Suarez, a little update. He got hit in the hand the other day. His his X-rays come back positive. He might take the day off, but he is available. And hopefully this does not affect his trade value moving forward, because the Diamondbacks have been clear that they are willing to ship guys, with Josh and Naylor going over to the Mariners. By the way, guys, trades that have already happened, that we'll get a video next week and we'll do a rate. We'll go through them all and we'll rate them all, okay? We'll have a little bit of fun with that. So, yeah, what a time to get hit in the hand. So, I do believe that Suarez is still in play. Brian Hayes has moved as well, so now we don't have him in there. And Ryan McMahon's also gone. The big three were hit, those three. So if he goes anywhere, he's got to go in the next day. I think the Mariners are still high in there, but they're never willing to part with any real prospects, and that can be frustrating because I think that he would make a big difference. But again, he is a rental. That is going to affect who is interested. So do I think Suarez ends up moving? Absolutely. It would be very, very, very stupid if he does not get moved. Arizona reportedly had pretty high price tag for him because he's been so good. He's been a very, very, very good hitter, like middle of the lineup for any team type of hitter. And anyone could use that, but he's been a liability at third base. He's not great defensively. And the bat is what you were going to be getting. And getting that for only a couple months, understandably, people don't want to pay very heavily for that. So, do I think he moves? Yes. Do I think the price on him comes down? Also yes. Reportedly, Padres are also discussing Robert Suarez going, which is, according to John Heyman of the New York Post, the Padres have multiple needs to fill. Him and also Dylan Cease are two guys that are going to be gone after this year regardless. So you might as well get something for them on their way out of the door. He is leading the major leagues with 30 saves. He is an elite back-end bullpen guy in a market that just needs bullpen guys. So Robert Suarez, you are a Philadelphia Philly. Congratulations. I just threw out a name I threw out a name of an organization that absolutely needs a closer. And then him and Harper can hug it out. You know what I mean? So we'll see. We'll see. But if this is true and they are high on moving him, someone like the Phillies, someone like, I hate to say it, but the Dodgers could really use a guy who's been as good as he could be. But like, again, what they would need to get for him to go to the Dodgers would be insane, especially because the Padres are still in it. They're not going to be like, hey, take our closer team in our division we're chasing. That doesn't make any sense. I don't even know why I said that. So I think the Phillies are more likely. Okay. Carlos Correa has been connected to his old team, the Houston Astros, though reportedly the ask has been massive by the Twins. He also has a no-trade clause, full no-trade clause, so he would have to also approve this trade himself, but he has told friends that he would be willing to waive his no-trade for the opportunity to return to Houston, where he and his family still reside in the offseason, according to Bob Nightingale. So do with that with what you will. And this is interesting to me. Now, he's had a down year. I think this is more of like a go play third base, an A-Rod situation, go play third base. Jeremy Pena has been great at short, though I believe he's still in the IL, and they've been absolutely decimated by injuries. the major one of which is Isaac Paredes going down with a hamstring, which sounds really, really bad. They're getting second opinions. They think he might be out for the year. That means it's probably so strained that it's a tear and maybe a significant one. That is not what you want to hear when it comes to hamstrings. But when it comes to big muscle groups like that, it takes a lot, right? And they heal fairly quickly because they get a lot of blood flow. So I'm pulling for the guy, but Carlos Correa to the Astros would be crazy. But my inkling is Astros don't get him. Correa goes nowhere. He's owed a lot of money. He's not been that valuable of a player, but I think the major reason this is even news is because it's one of the few teams he's willing to waive his clause for. So I think this is more smoke than anything. Speaking of the Clase situation, changing the trade market for Guardians players, Shane Bieber's working his way back, has not started a game since April 2024, coming back from Tommy John surgery, but he's reportedly looked very sharp in his rehab and is very close to getting back. Now, any team that gets him, it will be a death piece. It'll be a just extra arm, a guy who they know that if he can get into real shape in 2 months, that he could be a potential playoff starting guy. But like, it'll be a situation where like they don't need to count on him, but it'd be nice if they could. They could take a chance. So my guess is the price tag isn't high for him. They're not in it. And he's on a 1-year deal now. So the chances he gets moved are very high, especially if they can get any sort of impact, anything for him. Though I think and then I think a team could potentially have a dark horse for a guy who throws really meaningful innings for them moving forward. So do I think Shane Bieber goes? I do, because I think he's controllable, he's cheap. You tell him you pay his prorated salary, and he's on a 1-year deal. So there's no reason to hold on to him either. Not really. All right. Last couple here. Sandy Alcantara. Don't look now. The man is throwing really, really good. He just threw 5 scoreless innings against the Cardinals, and then threw 7 more scoreless the start before that against the Padres. So he's not giving up a run in his last 12 innings. Yes, he has a 6.36 even after those 2 outings. However, Sandy Alcantara is getting traded. It's just when that is the question. So let's break this down just a little bit, because what I mean by the when is it's either going to be this deadline or it's going to be in this offseason. There is no reason Peter Bendick should keep this guy, because they are not going anywhere. If the Marlins snuck into the playoffs with 3 games over 500, it'd be 2020 all over again, right? It wouldn't be on purpose. It would be despite all the things they're going through. Sandy Alcantara is going to be a very valuable trade chip either way. So here's what is being weighed, I think, on both sides of this equation. One, if the team trading for him believes that he can be of major value this year, that price tag could be hefty, right? If they believe that he could be a potential for game 1, game 2 starter for them moving into this playoff series this year, which of course he's put 2 starts together that make them maybe believe that he could do that, then they pull the trigger. I think that is, even with the success as of late, I still think that is less likely than option 2, trading him in the offseason. Because number 1 thing, you'll have more time, and number 2 thing, teams would love to trade for top of the rotation guys as opposed to having to pay for them in free agency. It's just a better situation. It's how you go get Kyle Tucker. I know he's not a pitcher, but that's much better than paying Kyle Tucker his full salary, right? Waiting till free agency and then buying him when there's no competition. So he could potentially, judging by how he's pitching or how he's pitched this year, potentially teams would feel a lot better about getting him after a full year of rest and maybe willing to pay way more in prospects and big league talent for him at the offseason than they would with their back against the wall at the deadline, right? It just comes down to, they'll get him now. If the haul isn't as big, they'll have to give. But I think most teams will want to wait until the offseason, because you'll have more of an idea of what you have available, what you want to do for the year, and going to get them. So, and then you have more time to negotiate. So do I think Sandy is going to move? Yes. Do I think I give it a 70-30 for the offseason to be more likely than the trade deadline? But I would not be remotely shocked if it did, because even with a 6, he's still one of the best pitchers out there available. Then we have the Tampa Bay Rays and my man Lippy Littell. Used to call him that when he was a rook with us in Minnesota, because he always had these little one-liners. He always had something to say. Actually, I think he did it like once. We just call him Lippy for the rest of his life, which is how baseball works. But surprising absolutely nobody, the Rays are primary sellers, and pretty much everyone is on the table, including this gentleman, Zach Littell. Innings eater, middle to back into the rotation guy. He's got a 3.72 over 128 innings. He is well on his way to a high hundreds or even a 200 inning season, which is impressive. And they've also been throwing out, and this is all according to Buster Olney, of course, the legend Buster Olney. Other guys that are available for the Rays are Pete Fairbanks, possibly Garrett Clevenger, Josh Lowe, Yandy Diaz, which I've been looking at. Yandy Diaz has been traded for years now. I think he would be extremely valuable. I think Yandy Diaz, if he is traded to the team that goes all the way, he will be the World Series MVP. That's what I believe. Yeah, I said it. All right. So I think Fairbanks probably needs to go. Again, back-end bullpen guys. You need guys who can close games. Phillies need him too. Like, everyone's closer that is willing, everyone who's willing to get rid of their closer should go get what they can get for their closer, because I think all of these teams, all of the best teams have weaknesses in their bullpens right now. They're scoring lots of runs. They have pretty good starting pitching, but the bullpen is wishy-washy. There's just a good number of teams that need those guys. Griffin Jacks, Johan Duran, freaking Robert Suarez, Pete Fairbanks. These guys should all go, and I would have said Emmanuel Clase, but we know what happened there, okay? And the last thing, the Pirates say they're holding on to Mitch Keller. Why, though? So Mitch Keller's another guy who I think just has not had the last switch flipped up, but could potentially be so valuable for a team, and I think they can get a lot with him. But I just don't know. I don't know if the Pittsburgh even have a semblance of a vision of what their team needs to look like in order to be successful. I don't know. I don't know. I can't go by any of the information we've gotten so far because none of it makes any sense. So Mitch Keller, not going anywhere, probably. I would guess he's not going anywhere. But who knows? Maybe they'll just get offered the world for him because someone needs a number 3 and number 4 starter, and they could get him through this. Again, he's a Pirate, so he's affordable. He is owed $55 million in the next 3 years, which is, for starting pitching, not too bad. He's also having his best season ever this year, so he's the most effective he's ever been with a 3.69, with the potential to be at the top of the rotation guy. I still believe that. It's possible he hasn't found a ceiling. That's what was reported. That's what I say. I agree as well. But the Pirates say they're comfortable with retaining him past Thursday's trade deadline. And frankly, the Pirates are comfortable with just about anything at this point. So I don't know what to say. All right? God. Anyway, those are the things we're tracking closely. There's a ton of other stuff, but we're gonna be we'll be on top of it, and we will let you know if we get any more breaking news here in the next half an hour to 45 minutes left in the show. So trades, are they gonna happen? What do we got? We're down to an hour. Things are getting crazy. It's getting crazy out here. Oh my God, what are we gonna do? Let me know in the comments. Okay. All right. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. All right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to swap Nasty's pitches. We have a fun little game we're going to do with our Nasty's pitches. But really quickly, I want to get into the internet stats because we got some fun stuff. So, the internet says, what does it say? Everyone panic. Johan Duran had a hug with his buddy. Now, I want to watch this again. We're going to do this again. I want you to notice something. Ready? There was a hug, but I think it was the butt squeeze that was the point of that. So it turns out it turns out that was just a normal hug, and there was nothing to go. But the world freaked the frick out, man. It said everyone thought he was traded. The internet went crazy. Everyone's like, a sell-off. They're going to trade everyone right now. Our closer's gone. But in reality, he just hugs his buddies and his bullpen catcher. I believe I have his name here. Bullpen catcher Frank Negro shared their typical bro hug with the old cake squeeze, and that makes sense. That makes sense. So nobody panicked. But there was, again, more panic today when Willie Castro was pulled out of the game early. Everyone thought he was traded. He wasn't. Willie Castro has not been traded. No one panic. There's still a day left in the trade deadline, but that hasn't happened either. So it's been rough over there in Twins territory. I bet you got some of them here in my comments in my chat. So it's okay. In more internet news, Brandon McCarthy. Yes, the Brandon McCarthy, ex-Major Leaguer Brandon McCarthy, had some stuff to say about this gambling stuff, okay? So Adam said, cancel me for this take, but I find it very hypocritical. The players are getting leaves, I think he's paid leave, for supposedly betting, yet you can turn on Sunday Night Baseball and hear Carl Ravitch and Eduardo Perez discuss the DraftKings parlays of the game. Once again, this thought needs the one more minute of critical thinking. Alcohol ads are in the stadium, but he can't take a fifth of Jack Daniels out there. True. That's very true. This is really easy to understand. You can or can't do things. Who cares if it's advertised? That's true. He's right. He's right. He's like, that is not helpful for the conversation. You can be for or against gambling. I get it. And it can be jammed in your throat. You're going to not like that. But to think that it being advertised on the broadcast and in the stadium is what is making players do it more. It's not really a case you can make. It could be normalizing it so people don't think too hard about it. Maybe there's a case there, but I think Brandon McCarthy's right. And he's known for letting you know. Also, shout out to you for not being verified. But then, in maybe my favorite story of this day, Chris Carey, athletics commentator and play-by-play personality, may have lost the ball on this one. You just watch it, you'll get what I'm saying. What he said they thought it was a foul ball. It wasn't. It wasn't. It wasn't a foul ball. So you win some, you lose some. Sometimes you just don't see it. Okay. One time I threw a ball. I thought it was a ground ball and it was a homer. So it happens. Things happen. But yeah, it wasn't very close. It was way gone. Also, just random other side note that I just saw on the rundown. So I apologize, DK. Brandon McCarthy, also career statistics. He had 69 wins and a 4.20 ERA. What? Okay. Now let's get into real quick interesting stuff. This is your crazy fact of the week. Everyone getting excited and say, crazy fact of the week in chat, please. Or in the comments, wherever else you want to put it. All right, crazy fact of the week. This is courtesy of our friend Henry in the writer's room. The 1981 Cincinnati Reds had the best record in baseball that year. However, they did not make the playoffs. How, you ask? How is that possible? Well, the season was split into two halves because of the strike that year. So there was a strike in the middle of the year. I know. Seems like it happens a lot in this sport. And they didn't win their division in the first half or the second half. So though they had good records both times and combined they were the best record, first half they took second, second half they took second in the division. And back then, before wild card play, it was just only the winners of the division went to the playoffs. And they didn't win it. So pretty crazy, huh? I know. Also, I'm going to try a new thing with you guys called Numbers for Normies. Today I'm going to teach you about one statistic and what it's for, because I'm tired of nobody knowing what these are. And to be honest, there's some stuff that I don't know about them either. And today's statistic is WOBA, or weighted on base average. It is a derivative of on base percentage, or OBP. Why it's not called weighted on base percentage, I don't know. But it's actually mostly because it's a different number, and if you weight something, it's no longer a percentage. So that's probably why. But still, confusing nonetheless. So this is what WOBA is. You guys got your glasses on? Good. WOBA is an advanced baseball statistic that measures a hitter's overall offensive contributions per plate appearances by assigning proper weights to different offensive outcomes: walks, singles, doubles, home runs. So, alternatively, on base percentage is just how much you get on base. A double, a single, a walk, all that stuff is worth the same amount. It doesn't matter what type of hit it was. When you weight it, you are now weighting what those events are and how more likely they are to produce a run. So like home run is heavily weighted because it's automatically at least one run, right? So this is a production stat as opposed to a straight up counting stat, okay? Which I use WOBA when I do my stats analysis because it is the most across the board. It's a very, very like even stat. It's a very normalized stat from player to player, okay? And also when you do heat maps, you can see basically where it's the reddest means they hit the ball the hardest because it produces the most bases most of the time and the most WOBA. So it's a better example of like than like line drive or exit velo or whatever, because it's actually like these were hits and they were valuable hits and they hit them a lot. So like guys like Juan Soto has just red everywhere because he hits valuable hits everywhere. So unlike on base percentage, which treats all times on base equally, WOBA accounts for the fact that extra base hits contribute more scoring runs than singles or walks, which is true objectively. So think about it that way. When someone says WOBA, or even better, this is another one that's going to really piss you off when you hear it. WOBA con is just WOBA, but only with contact. So it just removes walks and hit batter or whatever. Other things that aren't hits. So it's only batted balls. So it's a really long, stupid acronym for something that is actually less total data than WOBA. So WOBA-con is something else you might see, and that just means when they hit the ball, it produces valuable hits a lot, which means they are a valuable hitter. So like guys like Pete Alonso, these guys have great WOBA-cons. So that is WOBA. You're welcome. I'll see you next week. Don't forget your backpack and your 3-ring notebook and take notes. This is all going to be on the test. Okay? All right. Cool. Cool. So it's like slugging, but better. It's like slugging, but better. All right, should we do some nastiest pitches? What about Wumbo? You guys are silly. All right. So, let me take another drink. Let me get ready. We're gonna do nastiest pitches. We got a lot here, and we'll get into it in just one moment.
Nastiest pitches of the week.
It is time for the nastiest pitches of the month, actually. I should probably change that. But I'm gonna change up this format a little bit. So, throughout the month, you guys have been pouring nastiest pitches into the Discord, right? We have a channel in there if you guys are unaware. If you see something nasty, go in. Then I have Caleb and Henry go comb through them, pick the best ones, and give them to me. We were used to just like, I would be reacting real time and then giving my little like reaction rating, right? But I was like, these videos aren't that fun. Like this isn't very fun to watch. So what we did was we did what gamers do. We created a tier list. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go through these curated nastiest pitches and we're gonna put them where we think they deserve to be. Which, are these colors backwards? Probably, but It's about making adjustments. So we have a whole lot of pitches here, and we're gonna just hop right into them because it's gonna be a lot of fun, and I'm excited about it. So let's see if you agree with where I want to put guys. So we got Freddie Freeman versus Framber Valdez. What pitch are we going for? I'm gonna make a guess. Curveball?
Yes.
Oh, it is not muted. Ooh. That's pretty darn good. That's pretty gross. I'm gonna give that a gross. But it's a classic pitch. It's pretty sick, actually. So we're gonna go Framber Valdez. You get a sick. Not a bad place to start. I think tier 2 out of 5 is pretty solid. And I see a name up here next that is giving me pause. So next up, we have Paulathan Skeens. I wonder. Anyway, cool. All right, we have. I was here for this. I don't think this swing looks very good. I think this is a changeup. Let's see it. Start over. Here we go. Paul Skeens. Oh, that's a splinker. Splinker from heck. By the way, that's just an old email, so I don't care if you said that. That's a splinker from heck. Let's go, Paul Skeens. That's a gross. Oh my God, Brian Abreu. See, they're all gonna just be grosses. This isn't even fun. Let's see. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I mean, it looked like a ball the whole time, so I'm gonna have to start getting pretty granular here, or I'm just never gonna give anything but a gross. So we're gonna go Abreu. Oh, these are in order too. Cool. I'm gonna give that a meh. That's pretty good. But let's just put it this way: I've seen better stuff from him. We've seen better stuff from him.
Really
Okay.
astounding.
Cool. Just auto playing and muted. It's not supposed to do either one of those things, but here we are. All right, Joe Boyle. Joe Boyle, Gumby himself. I use Gumby as a reference a lot, and I'm realizing probably a lot of you people don't know who Gumby is. So I'm gonna stop that. Here we go. Another splinker, another nice. Jimmy Boyle. I thought that was a huge trade for them. He has been really good since he's been over there. It's great to see. I know Joe pretty well. I've worked with him on pitching, so I like that. Joe Boyle, you get a nice for that. Nice job, man. Congratulations. We got a Matt Boyd. Hey, chat, do we think this is a curveball? Let's find out this week on Dragon Ball. Ooh, slider. Changeup. Sick, dude. Hell yeah, Boyd. Full disclosure, I play catch with him. No big deal. We live in Seattle. It's whatever. I know him. His parents live near me. Whatever. I know. It's totally, it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. Matty Boyd, let's give you a sick on that one. That was very nice. I loved it. Okay. Next up, it's going to play automatically. Michael Waka. Let's see. Change up. I think this needs a second look. Anyway, moving on. Bryce Elder. What do we got? Ooh. Tickle it. Oh, God, it's good. Hey, Rook, go sit in the truck, Rook! Loser! Yeah, he's really good at it. But that was a really good pitch. Also, Bryce Elder, pumping 93 out of nowhere. Dude, he felt real good about that. Look at him. Oh, yeah. The finger lick. Love it. That's gonna get a solid nice out of you, boy. We're gonna go solid nice there, dude. That was good. I liked it. All right. Next. Mace Miller. Biscuits. It's fuel, isn't it? He just blows doors. My man, come on. Uh, 104, he threw it 104 miles an hour. That's crazy. We're gonna see a cool pattern here at the end with this tier list. Got Marcello there. Here we go. Okay, who's pitching? Walker Buehler. He needs a win. Mayday. That's a nice. It's a nice. Let me know if you agree. I like that one a lot. That was good. Ooh, we got a Verlander. We're gonna really push through these guys because we're gonna do AMA after this, guys. So just be patient. I will extend the stream. Be patient. We will get into all your questions. We'll do a nice AMA session at the end. Justin Verlander for the 41-year-old against Schwarber too. So this has got to be good, right? Banger. It's pretty good. That's a veteran move. For a guy who throws fastballs up a lot, that was very good. I'm going to give him a nice on that. That's a nice middle of the road, solid veteran pitch out of that guy. He knows what he's doing. Carlos Rodon. We have audio playing for some reason because Twitter is the worst, the everything app. I use it for everything. I ask Grok all kinds of stupid questions. That swing is no. Was it just a White Castle? A 1? I love that. That's gonna get in you. I'm gonna put that in a boop, 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 boop. Oh, or a sick, I guess. Sick is what we're doing here. Dean Kremer. Hold on. That was really good. That was so good. ASMR. Is it working? Did you guys feel it? I wanted you to feel it. Very good. Very good. Honestly, I might give that I'm gonna give that a sick. That was sick. It was. I gotta respect it. I never painted any pitches, so I gotta respect it. Burke. Shouldn't have to do this every time, but here we are. I mean, it worked out, but it was so bad that it was good, you know what I mean? Okay, Jeff Hoffman. Cheese. Nick Kurtz, tough to get out these days. So I'm going to give him a nice on that. Nice, Jeff. Hey, Jeff. Nice. Next up, another White Sox. We've gotten 2 White Sox out here. Is it Steven Wilson? Yeah, curveball. Back at it again. Steven Wilson. Trying to backdoor the old curveball. We caught a little bit more plate than I would have liked, so I'm gonna give that a nah. Sorry, man. We got Cade Horton. The weirdest fastball in the West, dude. This dude throws the weirdest fastball I've ever seen. What we got? Is it from behind? Sick. That was sick, dude. That was sick. You get a sick for that. We're doing good. Good curation so far. Good. We're gonna push through these last few. Okay. Soriano, 2-pitch pitcher usually. Is this a slider? I hope so. Or just cheese, dude. How did that make the cut? Do better? Do better. All right, Shohei. Give it like 15 to 16 seconds to load. What? No way. I have to watch an ad on MLB.com? Hold on, full screen. Hip, hop. Okay. Dude, against Larnick too. Look how late that was. Oh, we can't watch it again because it's MLB.com. By the way, don't use MLB.com when you send your links, please. We've talked about this, kids. That said, gross. Devin Williams. Don't ruin it. Oh, no. Oh, there's multiple. It's fine. Nobody panic. All right, let's see the airbender. One. Okay. You guys see that, right? I'm not imagining it? Okay. So he is 100% on the side. Okay? This is what we call a pronator. Okay? Then you go here. Okay? And then he turns it over. And that is pronating. That is crazy. That's. And then let's watch it spin. I think I know what I want to give that one. I think I know. I think I know. I think I've committed. Devin Williams, you are in the gross category. Will we have the most grosses? Let's see. Dylan Cease. Boom. It's a short one. It's one pitch. What we got? Is that a slider? That's pretty sick. I'm gonna go with sick with that one. Sandy? Okay, I'm assuming these were in the last couple of games. I hope so. Yeah, July 23rd, 100%. Let's go. Let's get it. We need some good Sandy in this. That's a nice. And that's a sick. So I'm gonna give that we're gonna give that a nice across the board. Clear, concise, and to the point. Okay. Mike Soroka. I believe we've seen this one. Maybe. No, it's different. All right. This is the second time in a row we've had a Soroka. Let's go. Paint. Nice. Yeah, those are just really high quality pitches. Good to see. Love that out of you, dude. So we're going nice. Kodai Senga.
Well, you got.
Don't pause. Don't pause. Just ignore me. Just ignore me when I press pause. Oh my God!
Just like
What's happening? Stop, man. God, dude. Oh my God. Hey, Elon. Hey, Elon. You're not that good at stuff. Anyway, okay. Dude, oh my God. Stop. Oh, we got Ghost Forks. Okay. 1, 2. Dude, oh my gosh. Stop. Stop it. Oh, it's so mean. I saw that thing in real time the other day, and we just couldn't stop talking about it. So I'm going to go with saying, hey, you get to go in the gross. That's gross. And give me a stomachache a little bit. We got Brandon Little with probably one of the best, if not the best, curveball in the major leagues. We'll see if that's what he does here. That's a curveball. That's a curveball. That should be illegal to do. Get over here. Get in there. Okay, 2 more, last 2. Please be good. We got Chapman. Okay, splitter. Honestly, if it's not Velo from Chapman, I don't care. So we'll go meh. And then Josh Hader. This better not be a slider. This better not be a slider. You win some, you lose some. Hey, I'm a big Josh Hader fan, okay? But that just wasn't the one I would have picked, all right? Just missed it. Just missed it. All right, this is it. This is our tier list. These are the greatest pitches. These are the best, nastiest. These are the nastiest pitches of July. Do you agree? Do you not agree? Let me know down in the comments. Either way, however you're feeling. I don't know. I'm not you, so. I thought there was pretty good ones. Mostly nices. Whole bunch of grosses. And I think the nose deserved it. I think the nose deserved it. Do better. Get your TrackMan data up, por favor. Gracias. De nada. All right. Let's do some AMA. It's AMA time. All right, AMA time. Where is the AMA time? All right, Trevor only. All right, let's get some questions in the chat. Let's start talking about them because I've waited for a while. Oh my God, the first one popped up. Jose Buto, Drew Gilbert, and Blade Tidwell for rental reliever is crazy. Is he a rental? Though? Is he a free agent after this year? I thought he was a free agent after next year. Can someone look that up for me? Because I don't have time. I'm doing a show. Oh, he's a free agent next year? Oh my God. Do you think Carlos Correa gets moved either back to the Astros or somewhere else? No. I think it's very, very unlikely. Hold on. This is driving me crazy. I think it's very unlikely that I think it's very unlikely that Carlos Correa goes anywhere else. He has a no-trade clause. The Astros are probably the only team he's interested in getting moved to. So, you know, if that's not the way, what I'm reading is that he's too expensive. So I don't think he goes anywhere. No, I think it's very unlikely. Yankees question: who's worth more, Dominguez, Ben Rice, or Spencer Jones? Spencer Jones is very intriguing. He's putting up Judge-style numbers in AAA. But when it comes to minor league guys, you just do not know. Jared Kelenic is like the greatest AAA player ever, and he just can't stay in the big leagues. Ben Rice has been solid. He's been a little iffy defensively recently. More valuable, though, I'd say probably right now of the three, it depends on the organization. So some organizations will probably weight Dominguez over Jones, and then some might go the opposite, right? Depending on what they need. But I think those two are both more valuable than Ben Rice. They play outfield. They're not first baseman. So I would say that's what I think. I think those two are the more valuable than Ben Rice. So hypothetically speaking, of a salary cap goes in, what do you think about mega contracts? So to show and get restructured? Oh no. Contracts that are set, it will be stipulated that they're guaranteed, so they will be grandfathered in. That nothing will change there. It'll just be new contracts made. Restructuring will not happen. Also, we need to be very clear here. Shohei Ohtani is making $2 million a year. It's deferred money. It's already worth a lot less. It's already worth over $200 million less than the sticker price already. So that will not happen. That will not happen. So I wouldn't worry about it. Like it'll be hell will have already frozen over for the salary cap to go through. So I wouldn't worry about it too much. Naylor to the Mariners? ? Yeah, it already happened. I love it. I think it's an awesome pickup. So in terms of free agency, if he has one more year of control? No, I think he's a free agent, so it's a rental. But they 100% need it. And he's a lefty stick. He doesn't strike out. He's got good plate discipline. He's an awesome teammate. Like, he's an awesome clubhouse guy. He's an awesome guy, super competitive. Like, I love that. I love that fit for them. So, and he's having a good year. So I'm like, I think it evens out. Of every corner pop guy they could have gotten to go to Seattle, he's one of the best ones that they could have gotten. So I love Naylor to the Mariners. Also, local team. So add that in. Why the lack of trades so far? Figured there would be a lot more. One, we have a lot of risk adversity. So when you make trades, especially big trades at the deadline, there's high leverage for the selling team. So the chances that there's an overpay increase because of how strict the deadline is. So people are terrified of overpaying, and 12 teams get into the playoffs. So you can sneak in by going on a little run, and you usually don't need the guys based on the price at the deadline as much as you used to need them. So not only is this going to be a slow deadline, or it might all happen right at the end because there are some pieces that are just too juicy. They fit too well on the team, and a bunch of them will go. But this is what the trade deadline is going to be now. Like, this is the trade. This is what trade deadlines are now, and they have been since last CBA. Like, they've been slow up to the last 2 days. It's going to be like this for the most part, all the time. It is. Teams just don't want to be wrong, and they're adverse to being wrong. Ooh, we have another breaking one real quick. I'm gonna answer that question in a second. We're just gonna do this now. I'm not gonna do breaking news. Pirates also traded Caleb Ferguson to the Mariners for a pitching prospect, Jeter Martinez. So multiple reports. Caleb Ferguson going to the Mariners, another lefty middle reliever. So good for him. Okay, can you pull that question back up one more time, DK? Do you think Kwan will be the best player dealt? I guess this assumes you think Kwan is better than Suarez. I think Suarez is a more valuable player to a team because of the production, but I think Kwan is a more stable player. Then he's better defensively. He is very, very, like, if the team already has pop but is struggling to get on base, he'll be the most valuable guy. I believe Kwan, though, has a good amount of control left, so he would bring quite the haul. But so I would say, yeah, probably, just because of the additional years as well. Like, he might be one of the most available guys if he is available. But I'll be honest, I haven't seen a lot about Kwan being available, but maybe some stuff has happened in the last 3 hours since I've read. stuff. That's entirely possible. I know the Guardians are looking for other people to trade outside of Clase because they can't trade him now. So that is a good call, though. But I think Quan would be wildly valuable to just about every single team except for the ones that need pop. They need a little bit more production. So, do you think Mason Miller should be in the rotation next year? No. I hope the Yankees trade for him and stick to him as starting 5 in 2026. Okay, you can hope that, but he will not pitch more than 50 innings. So I don't know if you're familiar with Mason Miller's career, but he threw 24 innings before getting major leagues in 3 years. He has injury issues, and he simply couldn't figure out how to start effectively. He also, his velo would just fall off in the 4th or 5th inning. It just was being pretty obvious it wasn't a good fit. And he's so effective as a reliever, and he stayed a lot healthier and thrown a lot more innings. That it's just, I don't think it's not like Griffin Jacks. He could go back and be a starter. I don't think Mason Miller should become a starter. I don't think that is as good of a thing as you think it is. So I doubt that it happens. I don't think they should do it. Trevor, what are we going to do during 2027 when there is no season? Well, I know what I'm going to do. Other stuff. What are we going to do during 2027? Well, I won't be doing this show like this. It'll probably be covering other sports, probably covering a lot of the lockout, mostly. I'll be your place for all the lockout news. There's a lot of wiffle ball leagues out there. Banana ball will still be going. It'd be a great opportunity to maybe start up your own thing and maybe get a lawsuit from MLB. Just have them kind of defending from all sides. That'd be interesting. But yeah, you're gonna have to watch some other stuff. I know it's not feeling good, but again, so much of this stuff is public posturing. One thing I need you to know about the CBA stuff and how it's gonna work, they're gonna be battling for public perception, and the MLB has its own network. It invested in John Boy. So I love the John Boy guys. Jimmy and Jake are great. They do an amazing job. And it's going to be interesting to see how Major League Baseball is going to have them try to cover some of this stuff or maybe just stay away from it. I don't know. But the CBA stuff is going to be very interesting. There's a lot of strategic moves that have happened about getting messaging out, and the PA has almost none. So just expect a lot of push and pull in that way. But also, don't forget, lockouts are ownership's fault. Strikes are players. Don't let them gaslight you. You forced us to. Shut up. You didn't have to. Shut up. But what are we gonna do? I don't know. We'll pick up a hobby. I've done some knitting lately. We can teach you how if you want. We can make this a knitting show. How's that sound? Next question. How do GMs figure out how many prospects to trade for a specific player, especially at times prospects are speculative? So, GMs don't offer prospects. Usually. Usually, it's someone asking for specific prospects, and then the GMs have to decide, why do they want that guy? What do they see? And there's a lot of this, trying to figure out what they know and you don't, right? So, but yes, prospects are speculative, but now with the advent of technology and now with how good advanced scouting is, meaning there's scouts at every minor league game. These guys have been seen in nauseam. They know everything about them. So especially the high levels, AA, AAA, they know a lot, and they make predictions the same way that they make predictions about their own minor leaguers. And so, how do they decide which ones? It's usually, though, they're usually thrown in they start with the big league talent and then they work their way down. That's usually how it works. Unless there's one specific guy who's really young or was just drafted or something that they want. So it just kind of coalesces that way. They'll be like, hey, we want this guy. You can't have that guy. We like that guy. And then you go look and you're like, what else do we have? We have this guy. It's literally like trading Pokemon cards or Magic cards or baseball cards. It's the same. Think about it the same way where you're like, do I like this one? Why do I like this one? This one, I have the set, and it's the same kind of push and pull back and forth. They just look at their deck, they see what they have, and then you try to glean and get an idea of what they're looking for, what types of things they're asking, and then try to slide in guys that you're maybe lower on, they're higher on, and then you can get value for that way. That's how the negotiations work. So, most shocking trade that you think happens? I don't think we're going to see anything nuts. Nuts in like a 3 guys for 4 guys way, where like half of a team swaps for the half of another team. Those aren't going to happen much anymore. I could see like, I would be shocked, not shocked, I think that these things have already been floated. It would surprise me a lot if Cease went somewhere. It'd surprise me a lot if Robert Suarez went somewhere. Those would be surprising. I don't think they should. If it's the right deal, sure. But like, it's when teams who are competing or are in the mix are lateral moving, which shocks me sometimes. But in terms of any crazy guys, like I can't even start to speculate on what would be nuts. Like Paul Skeens randomly going maybe would shock the hell out of me. But like, it's just because they shouldn't trade him right now. Like there's guys that just shouldn't be traded, and they're usually not going to be. I don't think we're in an environment where shocking trades are very enticing to anybody because they're risky. And with all this stuff, all this technology and the way we make decisions and stuff, it's kind of removed the shock a little bit, which sucks. It kind of sucks. I don't like that. I don't like that at all, actually. All right. Can someone in chat tell me where to follow Trevor's throwing program? Cody, thank you so much for asking. So, I am still traveling for Sunday Night Baseball in the next 2 weeks. So my goal, full disclosure, I'm working on a website called Trevor Throws Cheese, which is just like a landing page. It's very simple, and you'll be able to keep track with all what I am doing, what my plan is, and also like where my milestones are right now. Like I'm trying to lose weight. I'm keeping track of total throws. I'm thinking I'm at like close to 600 total throws. So I'm not that far in. And like my top velo right now is 85. I haven't really tried to, but I've been traveling so much lately that's going to stop in the next 2 weeks. So expect it all to be available on trevorthrowscheese.com. Okay. Some of my routine stuff has gone on the Substack, but I don't think that's a place where that's going to live. So this website is going to be where it all lives. The schedule will be up there once my schedule is easier to do, because right now I am flying to New York every weekend. I've done it 4 weekends. I have 2 more weekends left, and then I'm good. So once the travel slows down, then I will give you I'll be able to consistently do things, but I've literally been on the road for more days than I haven't been on the road lately, which I hate, and I don't know why I said yes. So anyway. Rockies are actually selling accidental competence or sign of changes. I think it's likely like this is just what you're supposed to do, but I think it doesn't, just because they're trading people doesn't mean they're competently trading people. I think that they look around like this is what we're supposed to trade people when you can. They're so bad that if you don't trade people, then it's just clear you're not doing anything. I genuinely believe the people that are in Colorado are trying. I do. I think this is what they're just not very good at it. Like they are trying. There's nothing that tells me they're not, because they do stuff. It's not like they're like, I don't know about. It just they feel not very confident. Like it feels like there's a lack of confidence. Very hard to pull triggers. But they've taken some shots. Like they paid Chris Bryant. Was it a bad pickup? Yes, but they did it. They paid Arenado pretty good for a while. It's not a Pirates situation. I just think they're making bad decisions. I just don't think they're very good at making decisions. Though I do have an idea for a segment on the show at some point to go deep into how I would build the Rockies. What's your max speed ever on a fastball? 99.9. in a game. 99.9, which sucks. It was 100 on TV, though. The TV was like 100. I was like, it counts. Like, it was 99.9 on Hawkeye. I'm like, shut up. Don't tell me that. I'm in the Hundo Club. Give me my plaque. Oh, okay. Couple updates before we get into another question. I'm getting from DK. 2 developments we have going on. One, both John Morosi and John Heyman have both said that in the last hour that the Giants may be open to moving Verlander, even though he has a no-trade clause. Now, I don't know who would want him, frankly, because he has no wins. And he's just been, he's been pedestrian, 41 years old, and he would have to waive the trade clause. Something tells me that means Astros, kind of like Correa, so pay attention to that. So Verlander going to the Astros would not surprise me. Anyone else, so that's weird. And then the Phillies are also close to acquiring Yohan Duran from the Twins. The Phillies will get a closer. They will get a closer. Or a back-end bullpen guy that can close. They will. They cannot go forward with only Jordan Romano. Though I do think he's going to be better. It's like, that ain't it. They can't, him and Strom are not enough. They need, and Ryan Kirkering. They need a guy who closes games. And that's what they do. That's what they do. All right. Let's do one more question, and then I'm going to wrap this bad boy up because we've gone 25 more minutes than usual. Guys, Nastiest Pitches will only be once a month now, so I know this one went a little bit long. I got a little bit into the CBA stuff. I get really riled up about that because I know a lot about it, and I just want to make sure everyone knows because it's going to be a battle in the open. Anyway, what should the return for Helsley be? Helsley's a free agent, isn't he? He's a rental. Ooh. What do they need? If they could get a low-level starting pitcher, if they could get a starting pitcher that could possibly be a big league team, that'd be great. Dale, yes, we've talked about Correa. Let me think. I mean, they need help all over the place. If they can get they can get a starting pitcher. If they can get a couple prospects for them, I think that would be ideal. It's just 2 months of a closer, so there's going to be a minimum amount they can get back for that. And then Chaim Bloom's taking over next year. They're a little bit in flux. It's a little bit interesting. That is a weird situation. If they can get 2 prospects, I think that'd be great. Or if they can get a prospect that is a pitcher, a starting pitcher, a length pitcher, plus a big league talent that may or may not, maybe a young guy who's big league ready, that's what you can hope for. But then again, the Mets just freaking give away Blade Tidwell for a two months of a submariner. So it could be more than that. But if they can get that, they need that minimum, in my opinion. Breaking Phillies close to acquiring. That isn't a break. That's not breaking. I just mentioned that. All right. So I know about Duran. That is great, guys. Thank you so much for being here. Thanks, everyone, for watching the show, hanging out with us. I always appreciate it. We are now a Wednesday show at noon o'clock. It is the trade deadline. Go pay attention. Drink your water. Watch your baseball. Thank you so much to David Korn, Henry Neiman, and Caleb Bartholomew for helping me write this show and all the production. David is behind the scenes here. He's the one putting all the questions up on the screen, so we appreciate that. My editors, Feeman, Maddie Messina, and all the other editors, and my manager, Emily Jude. Thank you guys so much for making this stuff happen. Without them, this would not be what it is. So I want to send you guys off with this farewell. Enjoy yourself. Enjoy the rest of the trade deadline. We will be back next Wednesday. We will rate the trades that actually went through. We'll make some predictions what's going to happen the rest of the season. I'm sure I'll have some other little stories to talk about. And then the weekend after that, we will be off, but we'll talk about that later. August slows down a little bit, becomes the dog days of the summer, but I have a bunch of other videos in the play. So the YouTube channel will still get a bunch of videos, but the show might not be live for 1 or 2 weeks during August, just because it's good to take a break, and then we will go through the rest of the season doing a bunch of really fun stuff as well as being able to really hone in on trying to throw 100 again, because I got to make a comeback. There's a lot of money out there. You got to take advantage of it. All right. drink your water, watch your baseball, be safe, and I will see you next week right here on Mayday. All right. Say hello to all the people, the subs. Thank you guys so much. I'm gonna leave you with that as we get out of here. All right. Take it easy. Bye bye.